It's a snowy day in the Ville. We are going to do an easy trail. Sometimes it doesn't need to be difficult. I'm at Turkey Run Park, which is part of the Parklands. We're going to do the Seton Valley Trail. It's going to follow pretty much Floyd's Fork for a portion of it. It's about a mile long, so we're going to go pretty much probably do the whole thing and come back. So I'm guessing 2 miles in the snow. I see one set of footprints that look like it went out and came back as well. Let's go enjoy some snow. Things were looking quite bleak for Louisville football there for a few weeks. Dropped 3 straight games. Last one blown out. Worst loss in over 5 years. Multiple key players injured. We still had the problem with penalties, turnovers, and then the defense in the last outing really struggled, had their worst outing of the year. Things were looking pretty bad for Louisville as they entered the last game of the regular season on a 3-game skid. Just a slight favorite over a struggling Kentucky team. A game that the ESPN Football Power Index had Louisville projected to win, gave them an over 70% chance of winning that game just a few weeks ago. Going into game week, it was 52%, 51%. Things weren't looking good for Louisville football. And then you totally redeemed yourself, right? I mean, come on. You can't say all is forgiven, but I'm forgetting a lot of it. 41-0 over your rival, thumping the Wildcats for a second consecutive year, dropping 41 points on them for a second consecutive year. That's pretty darn impressive, and did so with so many key players out, key players playing hurt, needing players who haven't had an opportunity or haven't had their name called or had an opportunity to really jump in the spotlight and shine. They jumped into the spotlight and boy, was it bright. And man, did they succeed with one of the brightest spotlights that football team has seen all season long, as Louisville just shuts out Kentucky 41-0. Wasn't even that close, right? What do you say we hike about it in the snow? It's all good. State champs. So the offense, so many question marks and really significantly low expectations for Louisville's offense as it came into Kentucky. The prior game just got crushed with Miller Moss on the sidelines. Louisville just scoring 6 points offensively. And coming into the season finale, the Governor's Cup, with your 3 running backs out in Isaac Brown, Kewan Brown, Duke Watson. Absolute studs, unable to go. So there was a lot of doubt on what Louisville's offense could do against Kentucky, regardless of how good or bad Kentucky's defense may or may not be. That was kind of beside the point, really. It was Louisville just doesn't have anything. Yes, it did. With the great in-state rivalry spotlight shining on them, with Kentucky attempting to reach bowl eligibility and trying to get that Governor's Cup back from Louisville and take it back to Kentucky or back to Lexington, which anytime that happens, it just doesn't seem right, but I digress. And Louisville seriously limping into that Governor's Cup game. What happens? You see a true freshman walk-on, Braxton Jennings, out of Ashland, Kentucky. You can't get much further away from the city of Louisville than Ashland, Kentucky. And he gets an opportunity from UNL running backs coach Chris Barkley to join the squad as a walk-on. And I remember watching these backs during fall camp, and all of them, you're like, wow, there's a lot of skill in this group. Clearly, as a true freshman walk-on, you're not expecting to have much of a role, a game day role, other than supporting your fellow running backs. As a true freshman, that's about all you can expect. Your role is to make an impact on the practice fields, push the guys ahead of you, that type of thing. Sean Boykins Jr., a highly rated wide receiver, the #1 wide receiver in the 2024 class in the state of Kentucky. I mean, he had a lot of dudes in front of him this year, and he's got some talent. Coaches said, hey, let's try him at running back. 6'1", he's got nice speed and nice size, some good speed, sees the field well as a wide receiver. And so those two, kind of pushed the guys in front of them and learned and soaked in what the guys in front of them, the Kewan and Isaac and Duke, were teaching them. And it certainly paid off. And the offensive line certainly did a great job helping those two, as Louisville, for the second straight year, has 2 freshman running backs go for over 100 yards each against Kentucky to help Louisville dominate the Wildcats and win the Governor's Cup. Last year, Duke Watson, Isaac Brown. This year, Braxton Jennings, Sean Boykins Jr. Miller Moss, playing with injury. Wasn't perfect, but certainly did what he needed to do. Led this team, going out there with that type of injury, a difficulty with that injury. That has an impact amongst your teammates. They see what you're going through. They know what you're doing. They have an upfront seat to the pain and the difficulty of what he was going through trying to prepare for this game. And he gives it a go. And he has to do so without Chris Bell. He finds Dakari Collins for a touchdown. And then you got some tight ends making some big plays. Jacob Stewart gets his number called on a 4th down play. Wide open. Great call by Jeff Brom on that play call. And he's gone for an easy long touchdown. Jaleel Skinner, tight end. He gets a touchdown. Miller Moss himself, diving over the top. He gets the touchdown. And then Sean Boykins also ran for a touchdown. That offense, with such low expectations to succeed at such a high level, a 99-yard drive, which the first 7 plays, here you go, Braxton. Here you go, Braxton. Here you go, Braxton. You get my point? And he's like, okay. He and Sean Boykins Jr. were just, let's go. Let's take it over. Let's put the running game on our shoulders, and let's duplicate what is expected of the running back room under Chris Barkley. And talk about a coach that just continues to produce stud running backs. Chris Barkley, Mile High, let's go Dogs. But for their performance against Kentucky in a game where there was not much expectations on their shoulders, it was like, let's see if we can win a field goal game. That was kind of the thought going in. Like I said, I had 19-17. The offense, absolute A+. Amazing job. What a way to bounce back, overcome, and face a significant challenge, and then just absolutely dominate your rival to keep the Governor's Cup at the Howard Schnellberger Complex. A+. How about that defense? Coming off just really an embarrassing performance in Dallas against SMU. They bounce back. Ron English and the defensive staff has those guys ready to go. And they didn't stop until the clock hit zeros. Absolute domination. Kentucky gaining just what was it, 148 total yards? threw for just 100 yards. They averaged 2.7 yards per play. 2.7 yards per play. Think about that. That is absolute domination. Whenever a play seemed to unfold, where, hey, if you can just get that corner, if you could just get by that guy, it might gain some momentum. There were a few that looked like if they had done something like that, could have gone for a big play and sparked some momentum. Louisville wasn't having any of that. TJ Quinn, 10 tackles, ties for team high with D'Angelo Hutchinson. TJ Quinn picks up the ACC Linebacker of the Week for his play against Kentucky. Third time he's done that this year. He also got a helmet sticker from myself at Cardinal Authority. You can check that out in the description. Clev Lubin. I mean, so many impressive performances from guys on the defensive side of the ball. I go back to Clev Lubin, and he gets into the backfield, gets a couple sacks, makes a couple big time plays, kind of going out in coverage really. Wesley Bailey had a solid game. Everybody had a solid game. Tayon Holloway, he loves himself some Cutter Boley. Defense just, dominated. They were ranking amongst some of the nation's best defenses all season long. They took quite a hit against the SMU and fell in some of those statistical categories. But their play against Kentucky certainly lifted them up, and they finished in the top 25, if not top 15, if not 10, in numerous defensive statistical categories, cementing themselves as one of the best defenses in the country in 2025. And coming off of the roller coaster, the crazy roller coaster of 2024, that's quite impressive. Good job, Ron English and the entire defensive staff. Great performance, completely, all around. Defense, you already know what your grade is. Everybody knew what the grade was before I even started this conversation on how absolutely dominating they were. Defense, you're getting an A+. Gonna miss guys. TJ Quinn, I mean, there's a lot of guys on this defense that are gonna be gone that Louisville will miss, but what a career for TJ Quinn. Team's leading tackler, 3 straight years. Looks like it. There should be some good pieces coming back as well, including one that we saw in special teams. The spark from this latest edition of the Governor's Cup was really kind of tip your hat to the special teams, and that's one of the guys that I think is going to be really big for Louisville defense in the future, and that's Eric Hazard. Get his hand up on that punt, blocks it, it's picked up by TJ McWilliams, gets it back to the 10-yard line, and a few plays later, Miller Moss over the top for the touchdown, and the rest was history. Cooper Ranvier added a field goal, and in doing so tied the school's single season record for made field goals. I believe it's 21 with Art Carmody. Had an attempt to break that record as the time was running out there in the first half, and I think it was a 51, 52, 53 yard attempt he was going to go for. Be Augusta win, I guess it was, and they never got the kickoff. It was kind of a head scratching moment there, but when you win 41-0, it's like, okay, whatever. But with the punt block, with Colin Lacey's impact with them kicking away from him, resulting in good field position, a couple bad punts. Another that was tipped. Cooper Ranvier adding another. Special teams, again, they flipped the script from what we saw at Clemson, and once again making a significant positive impact on the outcome and helping spark a blowout victory over Kentucky. Special teams, I'll give you an A-. Louisville finishes up the season 8-4. We're feeling pretty good, but it's certainly not where I think anybody expected Louisville to be at the end of the regular season. I think they expected a few more. Well, I know I did. I projected 10-2, and I think that's probably about where they should have finished. But, you know, there's that shoulda, woulda, coulda, and that a lot of that happens in all sports. That's the part that you hate. That's the part that stings. But when you're able to overcome and close out your regular season schedule in the way that Louisville did, that brings it back, that pride. It elevates what was a very low Card Nation when it comes to football. It certainly elevated that. Spirits are feeling pretty good right now. You got the pretty convincing win at the KFC Yum Center just a couple weeks ago. And now you've got an absolutely dominating win in football. Things are looking pretty good. My, how things can change quickly. So you really got to tip your hat to Jeff Brom and his staff and how they prepared for this game, knowing that they're not going to have a number of key players. And you really have to tip your hat to the culture that resonates throughout the complex. For guys to play hurt, for guys who really have not and did not really probably expect to have their number called to into such a big role this season, to really rise and excel at the opportunity, and to get just a convincing performance on both sides of the ball, and special teams doing their part. All of this coming after 3 straight losses, including the worst loss this team has had in years. It's a fantastic way to end, all things considered. Up next, bowl season. Before that, National Signing Day. You can find all coverage of that, obviously, at cardinalauthority.com. After that, bowl season, portal season. Football regular season may be over. There's still plenty of football to come. We'll hike about it, and it'll be completely covered at Cardinal Authority. Hey, I appreciate you going hiking all season long. We've seen some pretty cool places. Spent some time on the Appalachian Trail. That was kind of a cool moment for me. I really enjoy that. Look forward to more time on the Appalachian Trail and many other trails as well. So I appreciate you going hiking. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. If you have, again, thank you so much. Give it a like, a hype, share it with your friends. Got a lot to talk about for basketball season. Keep an eye out for helmet stickers after the bowl game, and certainly my post-game three-pointers from many of the basketball games all season long. Thanks again for going hiking with Michael McCammon.